interact with other Aghoris other than Vimalananda?
Very few. Baba Bhagawan Ram, for example.
What was the experience like? What did they tell you? Are they hyper intuitive? Because that's what books tell me.
A good sadhu, a good spiritual person should be hyper intuitive. And yes, that has been my experience, that they are extremely intuitive. And also, they're not trying to show off. They're not trying to demonstrate how great they are. They are doing their own sadhana, and you have come to them for whatever reason. They're hoping that you know why they came, because a lot of people, what do? They come to any Swami or Sadhu, much less an Aghori. They're not looking for actual knowledge. They're not actually looking for a sadhana, a practice to perform. They're looking to be entertained in some way. So that gets tedious after a while. And after a while, and of course, after a while, a lot of people who really have done serious Aghora sadhanas, they will stop doing that. And I mean, the person who was most impressive for me in this regard was Vimalananda's, he used to call him his junior Guru Maharaj, who I met many times, and who left his body in 1993, and his samadhi is at Simhachalam, which is near Vishakhapatnam in Andhra. And Guru Maharaj had done all kinds of sadhanas in the past, but he had given them all up and was just doing Gayatri sadhana at the time that I knew him. He is, I don't know, he's the only person that I have ever run across, and there could well be others, but he's the only person I have ever run across who had a certificate from the Archaeological Survey of India. And it said, this is to certify that Jatal Sadhu Ram Vishwambar Das was found, it did not say in Samadhi, but it meant in Samadhi, was found during an excavation in Khurda Road, Taluka of Puri district of Orissa state in the year, I think it was 1905, might have been 1904.
You'd met him?
I met him many times. I stayed with him. He would only allow people to stay with him 3 days at a time. Vimalananda's foster daughter and I would go there. Sometimes I'd go on my own. My friend Dr. Fred Smith met him more than once. So he had been in Samadhi in this temple that collapsed like in the year 1701 or something like that.
Really?
And he had been in Samadhi all this time. And they were excavating the temple, and then they saw, oh my God, here's this sadhu but he's in Samadhi. We can't bring him down. So back at that time, we're talking about 1904, 1905, they had special people in Puri, and Puri is a very interesting place. They had special people who knew how to bring people down from Samadhi. So they brought him down out of Samadhi. And then, he had been in Samadhi for at least 200 years. And then there he was. He suddenly was back in his body again.
Did you ask him about those times?
We did, but he would never, he would just say, yeah, I remember how things were in London 400 years ago. But you could never tell. You could only tell he was serious when you knew he was being serious. Apparently, he had lived on air only after he came out of Samadhi, air only for like 20 years. And he was living in a tree. Then he started living on a rock and was taking 1 teaspoon of water at a time. As long as I knew him, and that was 10 years. I met him first in 83, and then he left his body in 93, or it might have been 82, maybe 11 years. And I visited him at least once a year, sometimes twice. At that time, he was drinking this much milk a day, and he was drinking this much thumbs up a day. And he was not eating solid food except tobacco. And I don't mean he was chewing it up and spitting it out. I mean, he would get 2 big black leaves of Guntur tobacco, and he would tear them into strips and chew them up and swallow them. So one day I was thinking, oh my God, how is he doing this? And he made it a point to monitor everybody's thinking all times. So I just had that thought. And suddenly he said, what's the use of eating? You wear out your teeth And he had 2 rows of teeth. I saw this many times. The front row was all worn down. The back row was all nice and...
There was a row of teeth behind his...
Yeah. Yeah, I saw this many times. In his, I mean, it was just, I mean, there it was. You only had to open his mouth and you could see it. And so he said, you wear down your teeth, and obviously he had done that before. Maybe you get some disease, maybe the food is no good, and then you wear out your digestive organs. It's better to find something really poisonous, and tobacco is poisonous. You can kill yourself with tobacco. Get something really poisonous, eat it, do internal alchemy, and then you have no problems.
Internal alchemy.
Internal alchemy.
Using yoga.
Using whatever, he never specified what it was. It was always, he would say it. And if you asked, what does that mean? And he would say something like, if you don't have any faith, don't ask, or, go away.
I was just thinking that if I was a Western podcast, I would have cross-questioned you as a skeptic, asked you, how do you know if he was truly alive? But I've just come to realize in India, you never know what you're going to find.
No, not at all.
How do you explain this to your Western friends, all these things?
Well, normally I don't bring it up because people are not normally going to, it's only the people who have been exposed to enough of alternate realities, India, South America, Africa, wherever it might be, then they will understand there might be an But I mean, literally, for 10 years, whenever we were together, he would just be eating tobacco.
What were the things he was serious about? You said that he would only be serious when he spoke about some things. Like you would know when he's being serious.
Yes, and it was not, often he would just be talking about some foolish thing like, oh, in America, you get your food from factories. I said, yes, it's all put, it goes into the supermarket. Oh, and you drink brandy. Yeah, no doubt we do. So he would talk about this kind of stuff, but occasionally something would, cause him to pay attention, and then he would let loose something that was meaningful. Like, for example, I don't know what the context was, but one day he was just looking at me, I think, or maybe at Vimalananda's foster daughter, and he said, do you think that if my destiny was good, that you would be able to meet me? So his point was that, the only reason he was there was otherwise he would have been still in samadhi, wandering around somewhere else. So he had been dragged down out of samadhi, and now he was stuck here, and that's why he was meeting people. He came to Bombay more than at least once, I think twice, but mostly he stayed at Simhachalam.
Do you still get dreams of him or Vimalananda or deities?
Yeah. Of him, dreams not so much, but sometimes it'll be obvious. I mean, sometimes it will just be obvious that his presence is there.
Vimalananda's?
Or Guru Maharaj. Less Guru Maharaj because he has more things going on. But Vimalananda, yeah, more it's just...